So Ken Carson is one of the main artists that took over 2022 with this album, but the question is why? Having accomplishments like getting signed at Playboi Carti's Opium label, which really does say a lot, and really solidifying this branding that he has on himself called, I guess, X-Man or teenx, and he really is a generational talent. But with enough said, let's get into the rise of Ken Carson. Kenyatta Lee Frazier, better known as Ken Carson, was born April 11th, the year 2000. Ken was born in West Atlanta, but when he got older, he moved to the south side of Atlanta. When he moved to the south side, he would be about 15 years old. Also, when Ken would move to the south side of Atlanta, he would also get the opportunity to become affiliated with 808 Mafia, and also meeting his well friends Lil 88 and TM88. But around this time, Ken would drop out of school and go into military school. But unfortunately, about 3 months in, Ken would get kicked out of military school for having a phone and being on FaceTime. And right after getting out of military school at the age of 15, Ken would go and get his GED. I know I did say, unfortunately, getting kicked out of military school, but Ken did say whether he got kicked out or not, he would still be chasing his passion for music. And right after getting out of military school, he would take on the persona of Ken Carson.
I'm Ken Carson.
So what do you do?
I make music.
You make music, okay. So what's your artist name?
Ken Carson.
Ken did say he got his name from his real name because his name is Kenyatta, but also from the Ken Barbie doll. Ken did this basically because of Ken's lifestyle, from how he has a fine girl in a big house. And the Ken Barbie doll just basically fits his lifestyle. And going into 2016, Ken would make an Instagram going by the username of Boy Barbie Carson. And this Instagram account would really show Ken Carson becoming teenx. And what I mean by that is Ken would really be in the party, which I would be referring to his literal first ever post on Boy Barbie Carson.
We fucking lit, nigga.
But this Instagram account would really show his passion for fashion, also showing that he was getting traction on music and starting to make a lot of money. Starting from being in these simple fits, going all the way to putting himself in expensive pieces like Velo and Supreme. But before we get too far, let's go a little bit back on the date. June 6, 2016, Ken would go on to post something that's very important to him. A blog would go on to make an article about Ken Carson, and the article goes on to basically promote his song titled 32, which I went on SoundCloud and tried to find the song, which I actually couldn't find it. The reason for this could be when that girl deleted all of Ken's music. But moving to the end of the next year, Ken would have his first performance, October 24th. He will also perform this show with a well friend that I mentioned earlier in the video, Lil 88. But moving into 2020, he would go on to upload his first project since all his music had gotten deleted, Boy Barbie. This would just be a project for Ken to throw out because he literally had no music on his account after his girl deleted it. The project would have 2 features from Lanty Folks, 1 feature from Lil Yachty, 1 feature from International Jeffe, and 1 feature from Lil Unky. The project isn't the best, but it isn't bad. But this will be around the time where Carti and Ken would really lock in. At first, Carti and Ken would see each other a lot at studio sessions, and another time Ken and Carti would really have a one-to-one interaction will be the time where Ken got kicked out of one of Carti's shows. Carti would see Ken standing outside, and Carti would be really confused on why Ken was standing outside. Ken would then go on to explain the whole situation, and Carti gave him another wristband to get back in the show. So Ken and Carti have been around basically ever since Carti's come up, and eventually this would lead Ken to being signed to Opium. But later on that same year, which would be 2020, Ken would go and drop his project on August 14th, which would be titled teenx. And this tape from Ken would catch the eye of a lot of people. In Ken's words, the meaning of this tape will basically mean just a young high boy. This tape will also have one of his most popular songs out today called Yale. Not just Yale, but the entire teenx EP was recorded during the studio sessions of Whole Lotta Red. Ken even has production credits on one of the songs on Whole Lotta Red named Bino, which was named after one of the other Opium members named Homicide Bino. But just a little while after Whole Lotta Red would drop, Ken would go ahead and drop his first Lost Files on January 20th. The Lost Files are a bunch of throwaways from his previous tape, teenx. This Lost File would have 1 feature from Lil Yachty, and to be honest, all those songs are kinda ass, so I don't even want to talk about it. But literally 10 days after dropping his first Lost Files, Ken would go on to drop the teenx Relapse, which this would be the deluxe of teenx. I really do like this tape because it really solidifies Ken Carson's sound. This really shows the sound of Ken Carson's hyper pop rage beats, which I would say he would be the one to really popularize these type of beats. But at the time of this dropping, this would be some of the best music that Ken has ever dropped. First, Ken would drop Glock 19, but then a month later, Ken would go ahead and drop his second Lost Files on July 10th. This Lost Files will be way better than the last one due to you can really tell that the mixing is way better. One of the songs on this Lost Files had expanded Ken's fan base at the time, and it goes by the name of Team Bean. This would be a song that would go viral on TikTok, and this was actually the song that got me into Ken. But back to Lost Files 2, this Lost Files isn't amazing, but I will most definitely put it up there. On July 23rd of 2021, Ken would drop his album, Project X. This album would show obvious inspiration from the Project X movie in the cover art and also in the Run Plus Ran music video. Ken said he did this because it goes back to his partying life when he was a teenager, and also he wanted to make a soundtrack for a Project X movie. But around this dropping, this would really show the image that Ken had on himself. I'm not gonna lie, this is some of my favorite music from Ken, and this entire album goes 11/11 for me. January 29th of 2022 will see the release of Lost Files 3. This Lost Files 3 will be uploaded to an account on SoundCloud called Sicko. This has 1 feature from Lotta and 3 features from Destroy Lonely. This Lost File brings a lot of energy, but some of the songs are kind of iffy, like Are You Serious and Shoot. And this is my second favorite Lost Files. But moving again into June 2022, Ken himself would actually leak his next Lost Files 3.5. This Lost Files was never actually officially released due to problems with Opium label, so this would actually be the reason why Ken would leak it himself. This Lost Files will have 10 tracks and will have features from Lil Tecca, Solfego, and Destroy Lonely. Songs like Aquafina, which will be one of Ken's first love songs, and pretty much every other song on here just brings a high amount of energy, and without a doubt, this is my favorite Lost Files. July 5th, Ken would drop the music video to his lead single for his next project, The End, which this will build up a lot of hype for his Project X to drop on July 8th of 2022. To be honest, I put this project as alright, with a lot of the beats and just the songs in general sounding the same, and a lot of the songs having these Geometry Dash type beats. This project really isn't for me. Songs like South Beach, MDMA, and Gems will all be my favorite songs on the project. But most importantly, Freestyle 2 would get a lot of traction on TikTok, and this will be due to its zesty dance. Yeah, very questionable. October 31st of 2022 will see the release of Ken Carson's XTENDED, which will be the deluxe of his previous album, X. I don't really know what people expected whenever this would drop, but I expected X-Men snippets, which did happen with his highly anticipated Freestyle 3 dropping, which this track would get a lot of backlash due to the mixing not sounding right to some people. But what people just don't understand is that Ken was blasting the song through car speakers with his iPhone 5, but the whole X or Extended is kind of what you want for a deluxe tape. But that is the end of the rise of Ken Carson. Thank you for all the support on my recent 3 YouTube videos. I did not expect it to do that good. I actually privated all of my old YouTube videos because I wasn't really happy with what I had up. And I knew at the time, for being 6 months in my YouTube journey, I should have been way farther than I actually was. But once again, thank you for the support on the recent videos, and don't forget to go follow my IG and my TikTok in the link in the bio.
Oh shit.